Strong chairs at Shadwen from Frozenbyte. Developed on the Frozenbyte Engine 4 for around 16, 17 of your regional local currency. It's a stealth game. What is it? Shadwen is a third-person stealth action game where the only rule is to remain unseen, stay hidden, or the ruthless guards will kill you on sight. Well, that's not really accurate. Stay hidden or the game will end because it's determined that someone seed you. And that's you don't get killed. Anyways, let's kick off the CHAIRQUISITION. 1 chair means that it's crap, 2 chairs means that it's 3 chairs means that it's pretty good, and 4 chairs means that it's amazeballs. And we also got our categories Doom, makes with the working shiny sounds, controls, and fun. So let's just dig into this. Then, how did Shadwen make with the working?
Oh, let's get it over as quick as possible in the shadows. All right, how does this run? If you're familiar with the Frozenbyte, especially the Trine series, you know they have a particular screen that shows up, kind of like Unity, and it's equally full of nope. But unlike Unity, the best this screen can do when it comes to resolution is 1440, brah. That's the best it can do. And you know what? It's 2016, so I'm going to ding it a chair for 2025 Vin. Because, 2025 Vin, all right, we're being a bit generous. Be dead. Yeah, right. Assuming in this mythical world where I'm still alive, might want to play it at something higher than 1440 fuck mothering P's. Outside of that, everything else worked. It's your standard, they might have called it the what the fuck ever. It's fucking Trine 3 engine. So depending on what corner of whatever you're looking at, it's going to go anywhere between 35 and 85 FERPs within a nanometer of twitching your damn gerbil. So, I'm going to give it a solid 3.
And on the Fedora 2264-bit with the Intel i7 6700K, the NVIDIA GTX 980, Mr. Stone. It pops up with the not the feral screen. There's too many screens in Nope these days. This is honestly a trend that needs to stop, guys. Just have the game configurable from within the game. It can't be that horrifically difficult. But if you've heard me complain about Trine 3 and the Shadwen demo, I made mention of the fact that it will not go full screen if you're on UHD mode on your monitor and you start it up on 1080p, because that's about as high as it will go. But they fixed that. So now it will actually full screen at 1080p. Good on you guys. You finally got around to fixing it. So 4 chairs.
Yeah, I'm stuck with 2 23-inch 1080p monitors, and this one, since it's not a Unity game, did not try to full screen into both of them and then failed miserably. So I can only give it 4 chairs on the Fedora 23 64-bit with the FX8370E overclocked at 4.2 GHz and the GTX 970 Strix.
Funnily enough, Trine 2 actually would attempt to full screen on both of your monitors, or at least I remember doing it back in the day. It seems that they fixed it. Anyways, that's 3 chairs for Makes with the Working. Up next, Shiny and Sounds Vem.
Darkness imprisoning me. All I see, absolute, darkness, really. Mushy, brown tinted darkness. That's racist, Vin. Shut up, Vin. But, that's enough about the color palette. Let's talk about. Oh my God! Really? Oh no!
What is wrong with your face?
Plinkett would be jealous. Right. What? Moving on. Let's talk about the sounds. If you're expecting bitching Trine-esque soundtrack, son, you're going to be disappointed. Because really, all you're going to get with this is some muted background music that is instantaneously forgettable. Only interrupted by the occasional Lady Grump. Or Grump. Lady Grump.
Lady Grump.
Lady Grump. Best Grump.
Suggest that one, child.
I don't know. It's kind of awesome. I'm not knocking anything. I think it's neat. We actually need more female protagonists. Unfortunately, I just...
That's not like this.
Yes. Not like this. Not like this. 2 chairs.
All right. Okay. So the visual aesthetic is consistent with the setting. It's not overly cutesy. It's not overly grim dark, in my opinion. So that's a point in its favor. The soundscape is also fairly commonly designed because, you know, when you're sneaking around, you can actually hear from like some form of directional audio where people are coming from, which can be useful when you're sneaking around being a sneaky snake. I don't know why Ven expects a loud epic soundtrack in a stealth game, but, you know, different expectations for different folks. Visually, though, this looks like an early PS3 game, as Ven's lovely little screenshot there showed you. They got away with this in Trine 3 because of the cartoony aesthetic, but because this is more of a grounded game, it doesn't really work. Not enough to ding it another chair, but you know what? It's competent. It gets 3.
Yeah, again, they have their own screen and nope with the basic graphical options and resolution settings limited as they are. Still, the game looks very pretty, in my opinion, anyway. Even if you don't exactly enjoy their choice of character stylization, then the brown/purple/orange visuals are very reminiscent of 2009 up to 2016 Ubuntu releases, but in my opinion, they lend this game a nice visual atmosphere. And that atmosphere is compounded by a very good sound design as well. The the background music is, if it's there, it's very forgettable, but the background noise of like the guard's footsteps and Shadwen's own breathing and even her grunts, as the case may be, are very well done. They fit with the game that it is. So for me, it gets 3 chairs.
All right, so that evens out to about 2 chairs for Shiny and Sounds. Up next is Control. Ven, how fast did you scroll?
Oh, man. I was a scrollless during this because, well, during this other show that we do, shameless plug, middle of the review section, Go Team Linux Weekly Daily Wednesday. Check it out. It's a great show. He mentioned that Frozenbyte, the developers of this fine, fantastic game, did something a bit fucky with the gerbil. That kind of explains why there's something fucky with a gerbil. Every aspect of this game is controller organ. I mean, it can be encapsulated with one word, and that word is janky. Okay, I mean, fucky arse camera controls because fucky ass gerbil controls. I mean, it's the whole thing. But let's think about this. A grappling hook that, this is one of the key mechanics in the game, a grappling hook that only sort of kind of works if you pause, take aim, and pray to the deity of your fuck-mothering choice. And get this, they borrowed the busted grappling hook, you know, the scroll wheel, length mechanic from Trine fuck-mothering 3, that one. Brilliant. But you're like, well, I'm going to play the ground game, then. Yeah, I'm going to be swinging about. Well, playing that ground game is no better. Since collision detecting, I love that. Collision detection is often too busy playing Trine 2, the last game that Frozenbyte released that was really good, to realize that you're stuck between an empty space and a hay bale. Absolutely happens. But let's not knock that, because in all fairness, this probably comes from the main character's inherent need to stick to fucking everything like Spider-Man. It's like a Spider Ranger from
Shadow of Mordor.
Thank you, sir.
Italian.
And in closing, don't even get me started on the little AI kid, because I've never seen a bot move more on fucking rails. But technically, you can control the game, so I can't give it 1 chair. I'll give it 2.
All right, so Ven, you're like me. You have a Logitech 500 series mouse, right? You can unlock your scroll wheel and just let it coast on the ball bearings, huh?
G500S, yes, with a left clicking problem.
Yeah. So, see, one thing I like to do while using this mouse is unlock the scroll wheel and just flick it so that it'll zip up and down super fast. I cannot do this in this game to zip my lineup to get to higher areas, and that is complete and utter horseshit minus 1 chair. And I mean, and the other thing with this is if you fire your hook shot at like a barrel or a box or something, sometimes if you're trying to reel it in so that you have less slack, it'll pull the thing towards you. Other times it won't. And it's incredibly inconsistent as to when it does this.
Yeah.
Which I found super annoying. because it's like, oh yeah, I'm going to swing on this thing. No, it's going to fall down. I'm going to fall down. I got to rewind for 90 billion seconds. Oh yeah, the rewind speed. That's another problem with the control is you can go back in time to undo previous actions, except that takes minutes out of your life. So the better option is to not fuck up. The controls for like the keyboard mouse are relatively standard. You get your WASD movements, E for use, F for drag bodies, so you can hide them into hay bales. At one point, I had a hay bale that was mostly more corpse than hay, but
Yep.
that's how this game works, man. Like you have hay bales are the TARDIS in this. It's kind of brilliant. I cannot see playing this game with a controller though. Like if you've played Trine, if you're doing any fine manipulation with the wizard or the thief Zoya,
Trine
you know
is.
that it's pretty fucking painful. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. And of course you actually have to go in and manually figure out what the sane control mapping is, because they plug in the controller. It doesn't say, hey, this is an Xbox controller like every other PC controller on the face of the earth. I'm just going to use these default sane mappings. No, that's kind of dumb. And I actually ran into a controller or a keyboard mouse input bug where if you go into a hay bale at a specific angle, you can only from then on turn 90 degrees, which is kind of brilliant. This game has some control issues, and it gets 2 chairs because technically they do work, like Fen said. So.
Yeah. First thing I noticed when I started the game was the weird sticky mouse cursor, which seemed to move at different speeds for no apparent reason, because I checked the FERPs and they were holding steady at around 90 in the menu, so that couldn't be it. So I decided to tweak the sensitivity in the options menu. It has absolutely no effect on the cursor itself. There is some sort of software interposer that Frozenbyte is using between how the OS handles the mouse, which in Fedora's case is UHID, and the way that the game interprets said input. And as is often the case with those software interposers, see source games if you're not using raw input, that weird mouse deceleration you get. Yep, it's happening here too. Why can't I disable this and just use raw input? And also, the only way you'll have full controller support is if you use a mouse to help you set the bindings in the options menu. I guess I don't need to expound on why that's a problem when SteamOS is a thing, right? 2 chairs.
All right, so that's 2 chairs for controls. Let's wrap this up. Ben, did you have fun playing Shadwen?
How dare you ask me a subjective opinion? Well, when you start off this game, it's kind of brilliant. I mean, you get your hopes up. It gets my hope organ up because you're outside. You know, you're kind of on the beach and there's some old abandoned buildings and all that. And you're like, oh, go search those. And then you're like swinging up tower walls, you know, with the hooks. And I was like, well, this. I mean, outside of the retarded mechanic of like it not moving half the time, well, all the time, unless you, I've gotten a habit. Pedro has his own thing, but I hold down shift. And you're like, all right, this would be pretty good. Well, all that shit is for naught, because, I mean, the second you enter the city, the rest of this game takes place in Barrow, Alaska for 30 days. If you get that before the end of the show, you get a bite-sized Snickers. But
I got it.
What else can you do? Well, you can run about and stab. You can walk and stab. You can swing and stab. Jump off things and stab. Craft shit and stab. Then you can close the game and stab. Careful on that last one. Make sure no one's around. I'm genuinely 3 hours into this, and it's the same shit over and over. It's an escort mission with a pants-on head retarded AI that you don't care about. You don't care about the story. You're just skipping through it, wondering why it's there. And it does like this whole moral thing, like right at the beginning. We were talking before we recorded the show because everyone, Pedro, Jordan, and myself, we were talking, it was like, oh yeah, you know, like right when you first want to get a stabby with it, it's like, oh, if you do this, this could ramify. I was like, read, psst, stab. All right, that's basically where I'm at. So I'm at that 3 hour mark, and it's like, I don't fucking care anymore, man. Once you get over The levels are way too long, too. I mean, they're like 3 sections apiece. So after the time you get bored, once you start back over, you're back at the beginning. You're like, that's kind of where I'm at now. It's like, fuck this. Don't care. So, fuck this. 1 chair. That rhymed.
Oh yeah, no, and the level, I think there's definitely something considering the sheer amount of waiting you need to do for guards to get into a position where you can either murder them or sneak past them. It's not fun. Anyways, Pedro will get into more detail regarding this, but this really is a puzzle game in the guise of a stealth game. It's kind of like a more extrapolated Hitman Go, but where Hitman Go had a relatively clean and simple set of rules and mechanics to follow, this game is a complete and utter fustercluck. And I mean, you're supposed to be stealthy and whatnot to sneak up and kill things, but most of the time I'm just circle strafing around enemies so that I can get my backstab in, a la Dark Souls. I was getting some Dark Souls 2 flashbacks, and I mean, don't even get me started on this freaking protecting this little girl's innocence. Number one, she's a small child in a medieval community, so she's probably seen more people die by the time she hits 6 than any of us will. Number two, I don't have time to explain medieval politics and power vacuums to a 6-year-old girl. Needless to say, if I'm going to assassinate a king and his entire supporting infrastructure is there, some other asshole is going to come take control of everything. We're going to be having this conversation in another year. So actually, one of the first things I thought of when I started looking at this game was, oh man, I got to drag this stupid girl along. This is going to be one giant escort quest, and it's not as obtrusive as you might think. I mean, there's the whole morality bit, but beyond that, she's there to open doors and to make you double back because you need to open a door for her, and that's really her sole function in the game. But yeah, there's a lot of waiting, there's a lot of sneaking around, and really a whole lot of yawning. The super hot movement thing really only helps with the swinging around, because otherwise you can't actually hit the next thing you're supposed to Spider-Man onto. And I mean, I actually did use Ben, did you use any of the items that you found?
I used I built a trap. One trap. Then I realized that once you use that trap, after spending all that inordinate amount of time collecting the bullshit,
you need to craft it again.
You only get to use it once, and then you...
Well, I mean, to be fair, any items that you did craft get refreshed at the beginning of the next level. But yeah, you have to literally go through every single fucking chest in this massive city to find the one item that they don't even tell you what it is. You have to guess the shape based on the generic outline. Yep. And eventually you'll be able to make one of these things. I actually managed to make 2 of those little rat trap things, which was great because I could distract people and go up and stab them, but it takes forever and it's boring. And that's the main problem with this entire game, is that it's boring. The controls are a mess. The gameplay is just like one note again and again and again and again, and it's just a slog. I'll give it 2 chairs because it at least does what it says it does on the tin, but it's not particularly good.
Yeah, some games take a specific mechanic and integrate it into the core gameplay. They make everything else complement said mechanic. In Shadwen, the whole time stops when you stop thing is completely unnecessary. It was a completely superfluous mechanic to the gameplay that they already had. This game would work perfectly well without it. How do I know this? This is my TSO T wristwatch. The little nub to set the to adjust the time here, that set on the Q key the whole time I was playing this game. And I played all the way through it, so take my word for it when I say it was a tacked-on mechanic. The core mechanic of this game is the whole escort quest thing, like Jordan already mentioned. You have to take Lily along with you on your mission to assassinate the king, because apparently she has nothing else better to do. And this is where they put a little twist in the typical escort quest paradigm, as it were. You can get to the end of the game with or without exposing Lily to your neck stabbing or the corpses of previously neck stabbed guards. It creates a challenge for people like me who like to artificially handicap themselves in video games. Not that I specifically would need to further handicap myself, but I do like a challenge. It's a puzzle game of figuring out which way you're going and then working your way from the end of the map back to Lily, killing or distracting guards, and then hiding the corpses of the guards you killed. And in my opinion, while not exactly revolutionary, it is a nice twist on the puzzle genre. And Jordan already mentioned Hitman Go. That's kind of what it is. It would definitely be worth 3 chairs, except it has problems. It claims to have full controller support, but you only after you've gone in and mapped everything in the options menu. Now, if you have a mistress of your own, you can actually just go to the same big picture mode and set the areolas and the buttons to emulate the mouse and keyboard and be done with it. Then there's that stupid mouse deceleration happening, which the only thing it did was make sure I never used the inventory to craft anything else beyond the grappling hook, because I could not be asked. Also, every now and again, the AI will break. This isn't a big issue on guards, since they're pretty brain dead already, but the moment the AI breaks on Lily, get ready to reload that checkpoint and do everything all over again, because that little runt won't move, and if she doesn't move, you can progress. And the whole time stops when you stop thing, which, as I mentioned, adds nothing to the game. 2 chairs.
All right, so that's 1 chair for fun. Tally that all up. And we get 2 chairs for Shadwen. Final thoughts, Ben?
It's not sure if want. All right. Brace yourselves. You didn't expect this, but, you know, it's been a while since I've quit a game for no other reason outside of boredom. I was bored. I was not challenged by this game. It was just like, I don't feel like going through this same... it's not the same level. They move shit about, but it's the same fucking thing. To say it has puzzles, that's a big damn stretch. I mean, but, you know, it's just been a long time since I quit a game out of boredom, but here we are. Here we are, right here, right now. And I can already anticipate the hate mail, but Fiend! Don't hate on indie developers for trying something new! Exclamation point, YOLO swag 420. Here's the thing, Brad. Trine 3, something that we're currently playing through for our Patreons. Check us out, patreon.com/LinuxGamecast. Trine 3 was something new for Frozenbyte, and they cocked that up royally.
Yep.
Shadwen, no. Shadwen is just icing on the nope. Pedro?
Yeah, this is Zoya in the land of zombie guards and the conspicuously placed shrubs. Because, yeah, I noticed that there were shrubs growing out of the wooden planks in the castle floor. And there really is no explanation as to why the guards are so slow and brain dead other than them being zombies. Do you feel like 17 wet stinky caches are justifiable for a 5-hour-long game? Because that's how long it took me to beat
Pedro.
it.
I don't think did we give a disclaimer?
Oh, we totally did not.
Oh,
They
we
did send us
forgot.
keys.
Yeah, they sent us keys. Yeah. But yeah, it took me 5 hours to beat the game.
Mm-hmm.
And I basically had to struggle against a semi-functional AI, albeit with a good atmosphere. Does that justify 17 wet stinky caches to you? You make the call.
See, I thought this would be a neat twist on the stealth game, and like a lot of games, the pieces are here. They're just arranged in a very poor manner, and then you tack on garbage controls, and it just becomes a big old slog. I got about halfway through the game.
I kind of want to hit both of you with this. Now, we're all very familiar with Trine 3 because we're playing this for our Patreons.
Sure.
I mean, trust me, our Patreons are the
Oh, they're getting the best of it.
ultimate trolls.
They're getting their money's worth.
Yeah, right. It's like, suffer you lot. And now, my first thought, the first time I genuinely just like sat down and played this, and I was like, all right, this is using the Trine 3 inch. Why? What are your thoughts, Pedro Jordan? Why didn't they make Trine 3 like this?
I don't think that would necessarily work, though.
Really,
especially for the type of game that Trine 3 was trying to be. You're talking about some sort of action platformer versus some. It's a stealth game That's really just a timing puzzle.
You're not hearing me correctly. I'm not talking about the game type. I'm talking about the camera mode, full 3D camera control.
Oh, yes. Trine 3 desperately needed camera control that, worked.
I mean, what if, Pedro, what if all of our characters, we all had the over-the-shoulder view and we could play together like that?
Oh, that would get rid of so many bullshit deaths. It's like, oh, the platform ends there. Oh. Okay. All right.
To be fair, that would turn this game into Sonic 06, though, and I'm not comfortable with that. But to put a bow on this, I mean, I thought this game could have some neat aspects, but it really the issues with the game grossly covered up any redeeming qualities that it might have.